Part 39. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 409. The frogmen crossed the inner decks and reached the outer decks. Using the giant wooden mast and the facilities on the deck as cover, the frogman troops quickly deployed. On the front deck of the Discovery, everyone had a delicious meal. It is also finished. It's really delicious, Usopp said after reminiscing. I can't even eat any more. Luffy's stomach swelled like a giant balloon. It's really an infinite enjoyment. Rog also lay on the chair and said. Sanji said, okay, let's push these tableware and dining tables away. Sanji, Rogue, and Usopp pushed the food cart out of here. The three of them went to the cabin entrance together. At this time, suddenly a figure came from the side, and he swung a dagger to assassinate. Roger suddenly discovered this and quickly dodged. Then he waved his fist and aimed at the opponent, which was a blow. The opponent was knocked to the ground. Who is this? Usopp screamed in fear when he saw it. The frogman wanted to continue to stand up and attack. He drew a pistol from his waist and pointed it at Rogue and Usopp. Xiaomei Sanji hit the frogman with a flying kick and kicked him to the ground. The sneak-attacking frogman was successfully killed. What the hell is going on? Usopp said in surprise. Rog said, have you messed with the Discovery? Sanji said, how could it be possible that we didn't land on land after leaving Alabasta? I also checked in the cabin many times before. It's impossible for someone to hide here all the time. And this is the ship that Ver gave us before. How could someone be hiding here? Rog said, also, look at this man wearing a diving suit. He is a frogman. It seems that someone is targeting us. At this moment, a grenade was suddenly thrown over. Heart Sanji quickly kicked the grenade away. The grenade exploded in mid-air. The situation is not good. Rog quickly took out 3 walnuts. Heavy walnut armor. Under the action of the power of the Rog plant fruit, the 3 modified walnuts changed rapidly. It became the upper body armor, the lower body armor, and the head armor, which were put on Rog's body. Rog, who is already in a highly defensive state, can act as a cover. Rogue stood in front of Sanji and Usopp, looking around. After the grenade attack, intensive gunfire rang out. Da-da-da-da-da. The dense bullets hit the walnut armor on Rog's body. Sparks flew everywhere, but they couldn't effectively damage the walnut armor. Rog saw several frogmen in diving suits firing submachine guns. The dense bullets hit Rog, and the walnut armor was hit with sparks constantly sputtering. These guys are all together with the people who just attacked us. I don't know when they climbed onto the Discovery, Rog said. Usopp looked at the fierce firepower of these frogmen and said in fear, it's really scary. Are these frogmen trying to seize our ship? Sanji said, this is really possible. But now that the enemy has attacked, they must be dealt with. Rog relied on his heavy walnut armor to act as a shield. Usopp took the opportunity to attack. Usopp took out his bow and placed a projectile. Nail Star. Usopp fired a projectile. The pellet hit a frogman firing from a submachine gun. The frogman's body was hit by the nail star, and then exploded. After the explosion, a group of nails penetrated the frogman's diving suit and pierced into his flesh due to the force of the explosion. What? The frogman fell down after screaming for a while. 2 more frogmen pulled the grenade fuse and threw it over. Sanji quickly seized the opportunity and intercepted with his feet to kick the grenade back. After the grenade was kicked back, the 2 frogmen went west. The frogmen felt that it was difficult to annihilate, so they retreated first. They threw a few smoke grenades, and swarms of smoke covered the surroundings, and several frogmen hurriedly retreated. Why did you run away? Usopp said. No matter what, let's meet everyone first, Rog said. Roger, Usopp, and Sanji headed towards the deck of the Explorer together. The 3 quickly joined Luffy and Zoro. What happened? Zoro asked. Ah, someone has boarded the Discovery. It seems that someone wants to seize our ship, Rog said. Luffy said, someone is attacking us where we are. Sauron and Luffy also heard gunshots and explosions just now. Chopper also said nervously, someone is attacking here. Rog said, yes, a group of enemies dressed as frogmen came to provoke this ship. And their number is unknown. Nami said, it's too scary. You are a frogman, how could anyone target us? At this time, Sanji said politely, don't worry, the gentleman will protect the lady. Rog said, I'm afraid the enemy's purpose is to seize this warship. Then we must fight. However, although there are not many exchanges of fire, the enemy can be found well trained. Now in front of everyone is a group of enemies on warships, and their combat effectiveness is not bad. But we have to break through like this. Let's find a way to fight, Luffy said. Okay, everyone said. Now facing the unknown enemy, everyone still has to fight hard. Rog was wearing walnut armor, so he was naturally strong in defense, so he could rush to the front. Nami and Chopper and the goddess of spring and Usopp and Sanji are the queens. Rog, Zoro, king of ninja, and Luffy are going to fight in a surprise attack. Rog continued to move towards the middle and rear of the explorer's deck. Suddenly a rocket was launched. Hit Rog, quickly producing a violent explosion. Luffy, Zoro and the King of Ninja all retreated urgently. After waiting for the smoke of the explosion to dissipate, Rog's walnut armor suffered some superficial damage, that is, scratches. Over there. The Ninja King throws a shuriken, hitting a figure hiding behind a mast. After the figure was hit by the shuriken, there was a metallic crash. The shuriken was actually bounced off. How could this happen? The Ninja King was shocked. When the figure came out, the four of them saw an enemy wearing metal protective gear. His whole body is wrapped in metal armor, like a knight. After seeing this figure, the Ninja King recognized it as a steel diving suit. The enemy is an advanced frogman. The opponent is wearing a steel diving suit, which can be used as protective gear when diving into the deep sea. It can also be used as armor for combat. Advanced frogmen carry a bazooka. He was a little surprised that Rog was not killed. The senior frogman reloaded another one and continued firing. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 410. This time Luffy rushed forward. Let me do it. Luffy wants to bounce back with rubber power. The rocket hit Luffy, but immediately exploded. Boom. A violent explosion sounded, and Luffy was enveloped in flames. So strong. Roger rode. The rocket explosion was so powerful that it enveloped the surrounding area. After the smoke passed, Luffy was lying on the deck. How could it be, like this? Luffy groaned. The rockets fired by the advanced frogmen are actually fuses that explode immediately. So after being hit, it was quickly exploded and killed. In addition to the high-level frogmen, there are 5 frogmen waving submachine guns and shooting this way. The senior frogman took the opportunity to load another rocket into the bazooka. The senior frogman is about to launch rockets again. At this time, the Ninja King suddenly threw an explosive shuriken. The exploding shuriken hits the senior frogman. Boom. The violent explosion engulfed the senior frogman in flames. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the Ninja King moved quickly. His figure was like a ghost. There were also 5 frogmen firing submachine guns. The Ninja King came behind one of them, and the ninja sword was drawn out from the back. Puff. The frogman's neck was chopped open. A head rolled to the ground. Frog Rao's headless body also collapsed on the ground. After the Ninja King killed this frogman, he quickly reached behind another frogman. Aiming at the opponent's heart with the ninja sword in his hand, he stabbed him. Puff. The frogman was stabbed through the heart and fell dead. The remaining 3 frogmen saw the Ninja King and shot in his direction. The Ninja King quickly dodges. A frogman threw a grenade. The Ninja King found the grenade rolled to his feet, picked it up and threw it back. Boom! There was a loud noise, and a frog died suddenly. There are also 2 frogmen fighting. They fired violently with submachine guns. The Ninja King dodges abruptly. After a while of gunshots, they found that the Ninja King had disappeared. Just when they were wondering, a kunai suddenly hit a frog in the eye. With great force, it penetrated the eyes and shot into the brain. The frogman fell to the ground quickly, and blood gushed out from the eye socket hit by kunai. And the last frogman felt the terror of the Ninja King. This is an enemy that comes and goes without a trace. He was about to retreat, but his throat was chopped off by the Ninja King from the side. Blood spurted out from his throat, and the frogman fell to the ground and died. All 5 frogmen were successfully killed by the Ninja King. Just at this time, suddenly a rocket flew over. The King of Ninjas hastened to dodge. Boom! A violent explosion sounded. Although the senior frogman just now was hit by the Ninja King's explosive shuriken. But wearing a steel diving suit, he was not killed like an armor. The senior frogman continued to load the rocket launcher. The King of Ninjas quickly approached the high-level frogman, swung his ninja sword and pointed it at the steel diving suit of the opponent. Chong! Sparks flew for a while, but the ninja sword of the Ninja King did not cut open the high-grade frog steel diving suit. The senior frogman wielded the bazooka and used it as a hand-to-hand combat weapon to hit the Ninja King. The Ninja King dodges quickly. The senior frogman throws the bazooka away. Asshole, let me show off. The senior frogman roared and took off a machete he carried on his back. This machete is made of fine steel, and it can chop off a horse's head with one blow. The Ninja King quickly dodged, and the senior frogman swung his machete violently. The King of Ninjas wields a ninja sword to exchange with the opponent's machete. Chong! The 2 sharp weapons were handed over together. The King of Ninjas is in a stalemate with the superior frogman. Although the senior frogman is wearing a steel diving suit, he is also a burly man. But at this time, he felt that the power of the Ninja King was comparable to him. The King of Ninjas swung the ninja sword and unexpectedly blocked the high-level frogman's blunt block. The senior frogman clenched his machete and charged at the Ninja King again. The Ninja King dodges with his agility. The Ninja King quickly jumped on top of the senior frogman's head. From here, aiming at the gap in the opponent's neck is a fierce assassination. There was a sound of gold and iron clanging, and the steel diving suit on the opponent's neck was relatively weak, and it was successfully pierced by the King of Ninjas. After receiving fatal support, the senior frog skirt died. So far, this enemy has been wiped out. Is everyone okay? The Ninja King said. I'm fine, Luffy said. Rog and Sauron are naturally fine. Rog, Zoro, Luffy and King Ninja continue to fight and advance. There was another burst of submachine gun bullets in front of him. There are more enemies this time, more than 30 enemies in total. The remaining frogmen of the Beluga pirates gathered on the deck to fight with everyone. At the front are 5 senior frogmen. Senior frogmen wear steel diving suits. A senior frogman rushed over with 2 submachine guns in both hands. The bullet dented Luffy's body after being hit. But it was quickly bounced back. However, the advanced frogman wears a steel diving suit, which has excellent bulletproof effect. Luffy rushed to the senior frogman again. Rubber. Machine gun. Luffy punched more than 10 times violently. The high-level frogman retreated backwards after being beaten continuously. However, the protective power of the steel diving suit is very strong, and Luffy's fists are swollen, but he still can't knock down this advanced frogman. The senior frogman quickly drew out his huge machete. He wields a machete and engages in hand-to-hand combat with Luffy. Luffy tried his best to dodge. Very scary. Luffy is afraid of spikes and sharp weapons. However, when the high-level frogman made a mistake in attacking, Luffy found an opportunity to entangle his wrist with one blow. And choked it violently. Then Luffy completely entangled the senior frogman. Rubber. Trebuchet. Luffy throws the high-level frogman like a trebuchet, throwing stones away. One of the high-level frogmen was successfully solved by Luffy. Rog fights a high-ranking frogman with his fists pumped. This advanced frogman carries a bazooka, but it doesn't have much effect on Roger's attack. Roger rushed to the senior frogman. Swinging his fist, Rog violently attacked the senior frogman. The high-grade frog steel diving suit was hit hard and many places were dented. Although the steel diving suit can avoid being killed by bullets and bombs, it seems to be lackluster in the face of Rog's power attack. Clang clang. The steel wetsuit was struck hard. The senior frogman also quickly took out a large machete from his back to fight Rog. Rog's walnut armor withstood several blows. However, there are some scratches that have not been damaged. Rog aimed at the opponent's wrist and grabbed it violently, snatching the large machete from the opponent's hand. Wielding a large machete, Rog aimed at the opponent's body and slashed for a while. The high-level frogmen were severely damaged after being repeatedly killed. The senior frogman, who had been hit hard, was forced to retreat. Although senior frogmen wear steel diving suits on their bodies, but not all harm can be avoided. Under Rog's attack, the armor on the abdomen of this advanced frogman was cut open, and he fell to the ground dead. Roger saw the bazooka dropped by the opponent again, and began to pick it up and use the bazooka to fight the enemy. Zoro wielded 3 katana swords to kill the enemy. 3 sword style. Ghost slaying. Zoro holds a samurai sword in his mouth, and holds the samurai sword with his arms folded. His body passed a senior frogman. The high-level frogman fell under the impact, but was not injured. It still doesn't work. Sauron left only the word Hideo. He gripped the katana with both arms. Itaryu. Iai. Lion Song. Sauron slashed with a deadly slash amidst the lightning and flint. This blow cut off all the steel. The senior frogman was beheaded and fell into disgrace. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 411. After the senior frogman was killed by Sauron's cutting steel, the dead body fell on the deck of the Explorer. One of the 5 senior frogmen continued to fight. This advanced frogman is different from the previous advanced frogman. He wields a huge axe to fight. Rog, Zoro, King of Ninja and Luffy fight together. Rog rushed up, brandishing the captured machete. The machete collided fiercely with the senior frog's axe. Chong. There was a piercing sound of metal clashing, the machete lost to the axe and was cut off. The axe slashed towards Rog. But at this time, Rog waved his hands to bear the sharpness of the axe. Sauron, Luffy and the King of Ninjas took the opportunity to attack. 3 sword style. Ghost slaying. Rubber. Machine gun. Explosive shuriken. The 3-in-1 powerful attack was launched while Rog restrained the opponent. The senior frogman was hit hard and rolled far away, falling to the ground and never getting up again. So far, all 5 senior frogmen have been wiped out. After successfully eliminating the 5 high-level frogmen, Rog, Sauron, Luffy and the King of Ninjas moved on. After a valiant battle, half of the enemies boarded on the Explorer were wiped out. The rest of the enemies found that the situation was not good, and hurried to the Beluga for help. In the wheelhouse of the submarine Moby Dick, Captain Ahab received an emergency communication. The crew member in charge of communications said to Captain Ahab, "Captain Ahab, our landing frogman force was violently attacked by Lyrao." Captain Ahab frowned and said, As expected, there are not many crew members on this huge warship-like ship. But because it has so many gold antiques, the crew members on it must not be ordinary people. On such a warship carrying priceless gold and antiques, don't be surprised to see a group of powerful people appear. After Captain Ahab thought for a while, he said, "If this is the case, then we must also provide support." The crew continued to ask, "Then please order other frogman troops to attack." Captain Ahab shook his head and said, "Forget it. Although our frogman army is strong, the opponent has wiped out more than people in such a short time. So the opponent is very strong. So the senior cotters and I have to personally attack." After hearing this, the crew was a little shocked but calmed down again. "Okay, Captain Ahab. Please enter the water compartment later," the crew member said. Captain Ahab glanced behind him and said, "Okay, get ready." "As you command, Captain Ahab," said the senior officers behind Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab left the wheelhouse with the senior officers. They entered a room through the passage. This room is full of leather wetsuits and steel wetsuits. Captain Ahab and several senior officers put on steel diving suits and were fully armed. They arrived again in a watch cabin ahead. "Here is the watertight compartment. After closing the hatch in here." Nearby pipes began pouring in seawater. The watertight compartment was quickly filled with seawater, and when it was full, there is another hatch on the other side that starts to open automatically. "Here is the mouth of the Moby Dick. The Moby Dick is a bionic submarine. The mouth of the Beluga is the passage leading to the outside." After the Beluga opened its mouth, Captain Ahab swam out with the senior cotters. They swam to the surface, and now they can see the hull of the exploration warship more clearly. Discovery, a meteor warship sailing in the rough seas. "Okay, get ready to board this treasure ship that will soon belong to us," Captain Ahab said. Captain Ahab began to climb the warship together with the senior officers. On the deck of the Discovery, Rog and Zorro, as well as Luffy and the King of Ninjas, continued to fight and advance. The remaining enemies seemed to be getting more withdrawn. They frequently used firepower to suppress the situation. To a certain extent, it actually weakened the speed of the four raids. There were still a dozen frogmen left who were attacking fiercely with firepower. Submachine gun bullets were fired at Rog and the others intensively. Rog rushed to the front with his heavy walnut armor. Luffy, Zorro and the King of Ninja advanced with Rog's cover. Boom! A rocket hit Rog. Roger was enveloped by a violent explosion. But with the protection of the heavy walnut armor, Rog was unharmed. In addition, the frogmen also threw groups of grenades. Boom 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 boom. A violent explosion covered Rog. The frogmen troops also felt tired after the fierce battle. How can attacks like this be ineffective? The frogmen were all puzzled. Although the group of young people they were fighting looked young, their fighting prowess was astonishing. The smoke from the explosion has not yet dissipated. A body jumped out. Rubber. Bazooka. Luffy's body flew over suddenly, knocking a frogman into the air with one blow. The frogman screamed and flew off the deck of the Discovery. After the frogman was blown away, Luffy quickly stretched out his rubber arm and grabbed another frogman. He did not attack the frogman, but wrapped his arms and legs around the frogman's body and limbs. What are you going to do?" the frogman said in a horrified tone. Robot. Luffy manipulated the frogman like a robot. Under Luffy's control, the frogman held a submachine gun and began to shoot at a nearby frogman. Da-da-da-da-da-da. The frogman was shot and fell to the ground. "Okay, keep firing." Luffy excitedly manipulated the frogman to continue shooting with the submachine gun. The frogman continued to shoot with a submachine gun under the control of Luffy. At this time, a senior frogman simply aimed the bazooka at Luffy and the frogman. He fired rockets. The rockets hit the frogman and Luffy. Wow! Luffy was thrown away by the violent explosion. The frogman was flying with flesh and blood. Luffy fell to the deck, covered in scars. Ahem. Luffy reluctantly sat up and coughed. Rogue and Zoro and the Ninja King continue to fight. The King of Ninja continues to unleash his powerful footwork. He quietly got behind a frogman, and could now pierce the opponent's heart. After killing the frogman, the position of the Ninja King was immediately covered by enemy bullets. The Ninja King dodges quickly. After dodging the attack, the Ninja King came to another frog. He swung his ninja sword, aimed it at Wagaro's neck, and killed him with one blow. Ghostly sword skills. Seal your throat when you see blood. A huge bloody gash was opened in Frog Rao's neck. Blood spurted out, and the frog died on the ground. After killing the frogman, the Ninja King continued to fight like a ghost. Although the King of Ninja is really good at assassination and stealth in the dark, Shiro's fighting skills are not bad at all. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 412. These frogmen are shocked and terrified. The King of Ninja can actually kill them like a ghost. It's terrible, we are no match at all. The frogmen said in horror. But they didn't expect that a more terrifying attack would be waiting for them. The four frogmen used submachine guns and grenades to suppress fire continuously. Three-sword style. Tornado. The four frogmen still didn't realize what was going on. A powerful storm of sword blades blew them up, and besides being blown up, they were also killed by the sword chi. Sauron's artificial tornado was soon filled with blood stains of enemies flying around. The four frogmen fell to the deck, unable to move. Another frogman fired at Sauron with a submachine gun. At this time, Sauron's body was floating like a willow leaf in the wind. Successfully dodged the bullets of the submachine gun. Three swordsman style. Sword wolf style. Sauron's body danced in the wind like a willow leaf. The dense submachine gun bullets are also helpless to Sauron. Zoro approached the frogman and killed him with his blade. Puff. The frogman fell to the ground with blood flying all over him. Sauron continued to kill the remaining frogmen. Luffy rejoined the battle after being injured just now. The four continued to charge, and finally only 3 senior frogmen remained. 3 advanced frogmen in steel diving suits. 3 senior frogmen fought desperately. They all carried shotguns, and these shotguns were extremely powerful. Even Luffy didn't dare to get close. Rog approached the 3 high-level frogmen with his heavy walnut armor. Shoot quickly. 3 senior frogmen shot Rogue violently with shotguns. Rog was beaten until bursts of sparks appeared. These shotguns can only make some slight scratches on Rog's walnut armor. You must know that these shotguns are terrifying firearms that can beat people into a hornet's nest within 20 meters. Rog rushed in front of the 3 senior frogmen and struck them with his fist. Boom! At the front, a senior frogman was beaten and flew out. He rolled aside. The other 2 senior frogmen quickly drew out their machetes to fight. The 2 of them brandished machetes and attacked Rog continuously. There were bursts of sparks cut out of Rog's walnut armor. Rog waved his fists and continued to attack, knocking the 2 senior frogmen back. Although the 2 senior frogmen were wearing steel diving suits, Rog had the upper hand in terms of strength. Roger was able to force them back with his fists. The senior frogman who was knocked down just now stood up again. 3 senior frogmen fight Rogue together. However, Luffy, Zoro and the King of Ninjas did not stop fighting. When Rog fought fiercely with the 3 high-level frogmen, the 3 also used powerful moves. Luffy jumped into the air, aiming his legs at a senior frogman. Rubber. Spear. Luffy's legs stabbed down like 2 spears. Luffy's legs hit the senior frogman. The senior frogman was hit and knocked to the ground. At this time, Sauron's 3 samurai swords aimed at a senior frogman. 3-sword style. Tiger hunting. After the blade slashed, although the senior frogman was not killed, he was also knocked down under the powerful attack of Sauron. The King of Ninjas attacks on the third senior frogman. Ghost Sword Technique. God-killing slash. The King of Ninja aimed at the weaker part of the advanced frogman's neck and it was a fatal beheading. This blow pierced the steel in the neck of this advanced frogman and cut off the neck. Senior Frog Scourge, who suffered a fatal blow, died on the ground. King of Ninja's God-killing slash is close to the lethality of Zoro's steel-cutting move. But compared to Sauron's cutting of steel, its range is smaller. There are still two high-level frogmen fighting. Rog looked at them and said, "Everyone, wait a moment. Let me deal with them." Sauron and the others stopped temporarily. Rog put the stake of the giant wooden hand he had used before on his right arm. The power of the plant fruit hitting the body caused a huge plant arm to grow rapidly from the front of the stake. The faces of the two senior frogmen changed after seeing it. They have never seen such a powerful move from Rog. Can actually control plants. Rog clenched his fist with the giant wooden hand that could crush a horse. And bring your arm back like a right hook for the punch. Hand of giant wood. Right uppercut. Rog manipulated the giant wooden hand to hit him with a right uppercut. Boom. With a loud noise, the two senior frogmen were beaten out heavily. The two high-level frogmen flew out of the deck like baseballs and fell into the distant sea. Although they were wearing steel diving suits, the shock from the blow was enough to shatter internal organs. Although the two senior frogmen returned to the sea, they never swam again. Rog retracted the fist of the giant wooden hand. "Very handsome." Luffy cheered. Sauron also looked at Rog and said, "What a powerful weapon." Now after a fierce battle, more than 40 frogmen who boarded the Discovery were eliminated. Rog looked around. The battle did not cause too much collateral damage, except for some damage to the deck. It did not cause too much damage to the Discovery. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Suddenly several bombs were dropped. Hard. Rog urgently used the giant wooden hand to protect the others. Several bombs exploded violently. Boom 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 boom. After several violent explosions, the surroundings of the four were filled with thick smoke. After the smoke dissipated, Roger raised his head. The explosion just now forced Rog to shrink into a ball. Rog looked at the giant wooden hand he manipulated. The hand of the giant tree suffered numerous injuries and serious damage. But Rog cared more about other people. "Is everyone okay?" Roger asked. "We're fine," the Ninja King said. Rog moved the giant wooden hand away. "I saw that Sauron, Luffy and the King of Ninjas were all safe and sound. It's good that everyone is fine." Roger breathed a sigh of relief. Then Rog looked at his heavy walnut armor. Now the heavy walnut armor on Rog has suffered some damage from the bomb explosion just now. These bombs are more powerful than the previous rockets and grenades. A group of quite obvious cracks appeared in the heavy walnut armor on Rog's body. "Ha ha ha, you are really amazing. You actually killed 2 teams of elite frogmen under me." A voice rang out. The voice was so sonorous and powerful that for a moment, Rog seemed to think of a soldier who had been in the Navy for a long time. "It's really amazing, it actually prevented my super explosive bomb." Another sinister voice sounded. Rog, Zoro, Luffy and the King of Ninja looked at the deck together. "I saw several new figures just appeared on the deck. It appears the battle is not over yet." Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 413. After the gunpowder smoke cleared, there were only 6 people standing there. They were all wearing steel diving suits. It is very close to the previous high-level frogman costume. "It seems that we have met a group of strong men. Let's take off these cumbersome costumes and fight." The powerful clang sounded again. Roger and Luffy looked at the 6 enemies. There was a metallic sound, and they took off their steel diving suits. Captain Ahab and his senior officers showed their true colors. "Rog, Luffy and the others looked at these enemies. The one in the middle was a burly middle-aged man wearing a suit and a captain's coat. At first glance, it is reminiscent of someone like an admiral. But what makes people feel weird is that this middle-aged man only has a very long sharp sword below the knee of his right leg. The sword supported his right leg like a crutch. On the left side of the middle-aged man, there is a tall and thin man with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks. He was wearing a slim black shirt, carrying a backpack, and holding some weird spherical bombs in his hand. On the right side of the middle-aged man, there is an extremely burly person. Huge gills can be seen from his mouth. This is a strong murloc. There are also 3 short but stocky triplets who look like them. The middle-aged man scanned Rog and Sauron with sharp eyes. His face was very resolute. He didn't look like a vicious pirate, but more like a resolute soldier. "That's it? You guys are indeed extraordinary," Captain Ahab said. Rog looked at the other party and asked seriously, "Stop attacking us so hypocritically. Tell us your name." Captain Ahab said, "My name is Captain Ahab. I am the captain of the White Whale Pirates. Because I found your ship sailing in our hunting waters, I want to seize this ship." After hearing this, Luffy said angrily, "It's too disgusting. We just want to continue sailing. And we are a pirate group, and I am the one who wants to become the Pirate King." Captain Ahab and his senior officers looked at Luffy, his expression a little surprised. But then he looked a little laughing and said, "What, you are pirates and you want to become the Pirate King?" Luffy shouted, "I want to become the Pirate King." Captain Ahab said disdainfully, "I've seen too many big talkers like you. But I can tell you, I don't care what you think. But I have to book this ship." His voice was very powerful. Although what he did was a disgraceful act, it seemed that he was carrying out justice. Captain Ahab looked at Luffy and Roger, and he felt that it was absolutely impossible for the 4 of them to give up the warship so easily. But Captain Ahab is also the captain of the pirates, so of course he will not be polite. "Okay, let you have a taste of our power," Captain Ahab said coldly. The senior cotters beside Captain Ahab were also ready to fight. Rog and Zoro prepared to attack. Captain Ahab drew his 2 swords from his waist. Unlike many who used katana swords, Captain Ahab favored powerful Western swords. Captain Ahab swung his Western sword in both arms in a fighting stance. Seeing this situation, Zoro walked in front of the others and said, "Okay, I will be your opponent." Captain Ahab saw Zoro holding the katana tightly in his arms and holding the katana in his mouth. 3-sword swordsman. It's really rare. But I can be regarded as a 3-sword swordsman. Captain Ahab clenched the Western sword with both arms. He propped his left leg on the ground with one leg, and raised his right leg. His right leg was incomplete below the knee, but it was equipped with a very long Western sword. After seeing this, Zoro said excitedly, 3-sword style versus 3-sword style, let's have a showdown." Captain Ahab's body moved quickly, and his body rushed towards Sauron like a drawn sword. Sauron was also slightly shocked. He carefully observed the figure of the other party. Scissors cut. The 2 Western swords in Captain Ahab's arms were like scissors, cutting from both sides of Sauron's neck. Zoro quickly swung the katana swords in both arms to block. Chong! The samurai sword in Zoro's hand blocked the opponent's 2 Western swords. At this time Captain Ahab quickly raised his right leg. The Western sword inlaid on the leg stabbed towards Sauron's chest. Thorn needle. The Western sword on Captain Ahab's right leg pierced Sauron's chest. Although Zoro has a katana at his mouth, his reaction ability is obviously not as good as his opponent's right leg. Zoro suddenly retreated and dodged another attack to avoid the opponent's attack. Captain Ahab's left leg was slightly bent, and his whole body rushed forward again. This time Captain Ahab aimed his right leg at Sauron's body. The Western swords on his arms began to rotate together with his body. In this way, the Western sword on the right leg pierced through like a spinning drill. Spiral needle. The western sword on Captain Ahab's right leg whirled and stabbed Sauron. Zorro quickly took his stance. The two arms hold the katana tightly and coordinate with the katana in the mouth. Ghost Slayer. Zorro's body quickly moved forward and slashed forward. This is a head-to-head battle. Chong. The spiral lancet from Captain Ahab's right leg hit Sauron's crossed katana. The enormous power of Ghost Slash was actually counteracted by the opponent's right leg swirling western sword dash. Even Zorro was slightly pushed back. So strong. Sauron said in shock. However, although Ghost Slash was counteracted, it also consumed most of the opponent's attack power. Soon Captain Ahab stopped fighting. He regained his footing, and charged Sauron again. The western swords in both arms complement each other and attack Zorro with ease. Even the western sword on the right leg from time to time stabs upwards. Zorro resisted with all his strength. The swords of the two sides were handed over continuously. There was a terrifying and harsh metal friction sound. The Ninja King also saw that Sauron had encountered a very powerful sword master this time. When Sauron and Captain Ahab were fighting swords fiercely, suddenly, the burly murlocs under Captain Ahab rushed over. He clenched his fist, looked at Rog and said, "Okay, you can be my opponent." Rog looked at the opponent and felt from the momentum that the opponent was a powerful enemy. "Okay," Rog said. Facing the opponent's challenge, Rog naturally accepted it. The fishman said, "Let me introduce myself first. My name is Shukro. I am a shark murloc with infinite strength." Shakro waved and opened his giant mouth and bit Rog. Rog quickly used the giant wooden hand to resist. But the hand of the giant tree was bitten by Shukro's mouth. All of a sudden, a large piece of the giant wooden hand was bitten into pieces by Shukro. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 414. What a powerful bite. Rog said in shock. Shukro continued to attack, biting Rog's giant wooden hand again. One after another, 7 or 8 attacks in a row. Rog's giant wooden hand was basically crushed by Shukro. Roger was caught off guard by such an attack. Sakro didn't give up. He rushed to the front of Rog, and aimed at Rog's body with a punch. Boom! This punch was so powerful that it sent Rog more than 10 meters away. Even though he was protected by heavy walnut armor, Rog still felt extremely shocked. Rog struggled to stand up again after landing. But Shakro rushed to the front of Rog again. He opened his big mouth, aimed at Rog's right arm and bit it. The opponent's strong bite force bit Rog's right arm. The heavy-duty walnut armor on Rog's right arm was as hard as steel, and Shukro was unable to destroy it for a while. However, the opponent's teeth are not generally sharp and hard enough to cut steel. Roger heard a crackling sound. The heavy walnut armor also began to crack. At this moment, Roger was extremely nervous. If he continues, his right arm will be bitten off. But Rog had an idea, and now there was a stake of a giant wooden hand at the front of his right arm. Now most of the right arm was bitten into the mouth by Shukro. Rog quickly concentrated the power of the plant fruit in his body. The giant tree's hand quickly regenerated. Shakro, who was biting Roger's right arm, immediately felt his throat and mouth full of trees. Forward! Shakro quickly spat out Rog's right arm. The wooden stake in front of Rog's right arm has grown a giant wooden hand. Shukro looked at Rog's giant wooden hand and said, "What a strange weapon. You had the upper hand just now. It's only temporary. Now it's time for me to get serious." Rog implanted the power of the plant fruit into the hand of the giant tree. The hand of the giant tree grew rapidly, and was clenched into a huge fist by Rog. "Come on, try the fist of the giant tree." Rog waved the clenched fist of the giant wooden hand. A huge fist hit Shakro. Shukro used his arms to resist. As a result, the huge fist clenched tightly by the hand of the giant tree was blocked abruptly. What a powerful force! Rog and Shukro said at the same time. Shukro is a type that is extremely large and infinite even in the fish gap. Rog's giant wooden hand is powerful. Shukro's power is also huge. The power of the two can compete with each other. Rog and Shukro began to roar a fierce battle on the deck. The sounds of attacks shook the entire deck and could feel the tremors. Sauron and Captain Ahab, Rogue, and Shukro after the battle. Other enemies also came to Luffy and the Ninja King. The tall and thin man walked up to Luffy. Hey, you man in a straw hat. You actually want to become the Pirate King? Then you should try my bomb first. I am the explosion killer Boom, the tall and thin man said in a high-pitched voice. Boom looked at Luffy and saw that the straw hat in front of him was the test subject for his bomb. After hearing this, Luffy clenched his fists and said, "Okay, I'm going to beat you away." Boom grinned grimly for a while. Luffy swung his fist to hit him. Rubber. Pistol. Boom's body quickly became as paper-like. Paper painting. Boom managed to dodge the attack. Luffy quickly stepped up his attack. Rubber. Machine gun. Luffy punched more than 10 times in a row. But Boom swayed lightly like paper, dodging the attack. Boom easily dodged Luffy's attack. Luffy said angrily, "It's strange, why can't I hit?" Boom said, "Okay, it's my turn." He dropped a bomb at random. The bomb exploded in mid-air. Immediately, it shone brightly. The dazzling light forced Luffy to retreat. Luffy waited for the light to pass, then looked forward again. There was no other figure in front of him. There are no cherry blossoms on the left, right, or even behind. Why did it disappear? Luffy said in confusion. Just when Luffy felt at a loss, suddenly Boom's figure appeared from behind him. "I'll give you a bomb." Luffy just turned around and was about to attack Boom. The other party disappeared again. Underfoot is a spherical bomb. Boom. The ball bomb exploded. Luffy was thrown away by the explosion. Flying off the deck of the Discovery, he was about to fall into the sea. At this critical moment, Luffy stretched out his rubber arms and grabbed the hull of the Discovery. He returned to the deck on rubber arms. Back on the deck, Luffy gasped heavily. It was so dangerous, I almost fed it to the sharks. Luffy looked to the deck and saw Boom still here. Boom looked at Luffy and said, "You are so tenacious. And you seem to be a user with rubber devil fruit abilities." Luffy said, "This time I will let you die without a burial place." Boom said with some disdain, "Okay, come on." Luffy quickly attacked with both arms. Luffy hit Boom with a fist. Shave. Boom ducked quickly. What Boom knows is the paper drawing and shaving in the Navy 6. These two physical skills allow Boom to dodge attacks and move to place bombs during combat. Boom's style is to use bombs. Combining the 6 moves, he can successfully use the bomb attack he is good at. Boom approached Luffy again and dropped a spherical explosive bomb. Blow it up. Boom quickly used the shave to leave here. A violent explosion occurred, and Luffy grabbed the mast one step earlier and reached the top of the mast. Boom looked up at Luffy from the deck below. "It's a bad time, Boom can't move around." Boom could not attack a mast that high. Just as Boom was feeling a headache, Luffy fell down again. Great. That's Boom's idea. Luffy landed on the deck again. "Okay, the guy who can use the bomb. Let's fight to the death." Luffy said. "You must be going west this time." Boom said grimly. Luffy said, "I'm going to beat you away." Luffy suddenly extended his legs this time. Only the right leg is extended, and the left leg is still supporting the ground. Luffy began to spin rapidly around himself. It's like the hands of a clock are rotating around the center of the circle. Boom quickly dodged, but was still hit by Luffy's leg from the side. Boom. Boom's body was knocked away. Boom's body was knocked into the air and fell to the deck. The blow sent Boom dizzy. When Boom stood up again, Luffy attacked again. Boom quickly used Xiao to dodge the attack. In less than a second, his feet stepped on the ground dozens of times continuously, and the reaction force produced allowed his body to move. Boom's body moved to a position more than 10 meters away. Rubber. Sickle. Luffy swept his arms across this time. Boom was caught off guard and was sent flying. He fell heavily to the deck again. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 415. Boom gritted his teeth and stood up again. He couldn't believe he was beaten like this by Luffy. After all, Boom is a powerful explosive killer who has mastered paper drawing and shaving. It was unimaginable to him that such a person could be suppressed like this. Luffy rushed in front of Boom and punched Boom in the head. Paper painting. Boom let go of all his strength and shook like a piece of paper. Boom quickly dodges Luffy's fist. But Luffy is really attacking at this time. Rubber. Rope. Luffy's arms coiled up Boom like a rope. Although Boom's paper paintings can avoid bullets and swords. But Luffy rolled his body directly, and Boom couldn't break free. After Luffy rolled up Boom's body, Boom struggled hard but couldn't get rid of it. Damn it, Boom said in great pain. Luffy took the opportunity to pull his body over, and aimed his other fist at Boom's body. Rubber. Close-range gun. The punch hit Boom's head. Boom's head and body were blown out together. Boom fell to the deck. Luffy rushed over again this time. This time Luffy stretched his legs out and wrapped them around Boom's body. Boom's body was entangled again. He can't use paper to draw or shave like this. Rubber. Double fist cannon. Luffy hit Boom's head with both fists continuously. After being beaten for a while, Boom was already bruised and swollen. Luffy throws Boom down. A badly injured Boom lay on the deck. Luffy said, "You are not that invincible." After Boom moaned for a while, he stood up again. "Bastard, you beat me like this," Boom said with hatred. He took out the weapon from the backpack on his back. The weapon this time is nothing but a submachine gun. Luffy looked at the submachine gun in Boom's hand and said, "It turns out to be a submachine gun. I'm not afraid of this thing." Boom said, "Humph, I will make you regret it soon." Boom took the submachine gun and pointed it at Luffy. He pulled the trigger. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Accompanied by the sound of dense bullet shooting. In front of Luffy's eyes, a string of steel nails were shot at him. Luffy dodges urgently, but several more hit his body. The sharp steel nails penetrated Luffy's body under the power of the submachine gun. Wenjeng. Luffy's body was in severe pain for a while, and he jumped up immediately. "It hurts." Luffy's howling soared in pain. Boom was beaten by Luffy just now. Now using a nail-shooting submachine gun can make you feel proud. "You are a rubber man, so you must be very afraid of needle weapons," Boom said. As a rubber man, Luffy can bounce spherical bullets and shells, but he can't resist steel nails. Luffy struggled to pull out the steel nail. "I'm going to beat you away," Luffy growled angrily. After Luffy's roar, Boom continued to shoot with the stud submachine gun. The bullets from the nail-shooting submachine gun hit Luffy densely. This time Luffy was hit by more than 10 steel nails in a row. "It hurts me." Luffy howled his sword in great pain for a while. Boom continued to shoot with his nail-firing submachine gun. Luffy left quickly. "Ahahaha, I'm going to beat you into a sieve," Boom said sinisterly. Under Boom's attack, Luffy fell into a passive state. While Luffy was fighting Boom the Burst Killer, The king of ninja fights three stocky triplets. The triplets went to the front of the ninja king together. We three brothers will deal with you together. Let me introduce first, we are the three fighting brothers. The triplets said together. All three of them spoke in unison, as if they were coming from the same mouth. The king of ninja clenched his ninja sword in his hand and said, "Okay, I'm willing to accompany you." The three fighting brothers attacked the ninja king together. The three brothers all took out a mace. Three maces swung at the ninja king. The ninja king dodges quickly. With his ghostly footwork, the ninja king can easily dodge these attacks. "What a fast speed," said the three fighting brothers. The king of ninja quickly swung his ninja sword to kill the three fighting brothers. Fighting three brothers fight together wielding maces. The three brothers can support each other and rely on each other during the battle. The ninja king was also suppressed for a while. The three fighting brothers continued to fight. The three brothers seemed to have a tacit understanding that was far beyond human beings, and they cooperated exaggeratedly during the battle. The king of ninjas was actually passive for a while. Although the three fighting brothers are short and stocky, their movements are flexible and their coordination is incredible. Chiang 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 chiang. The mace in the hands of the three fighting brothers kept hitting the ninja king's ninja sword. The ninja king quickly dodged, but the three fighting brothers kept attacking, which made him tired of coping. Feeling powerless during the battle, the ninja king still threw a projectile. After the projectile exploded, a cloud of thick smoke enveloped the surroundings. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the ninja king fled quickly. The three fighting brothers looked around urgently, but they couldn't see the shadow of the ninja king. Suddenly three exploding shurikens flew over. Three exploding shurikens hit the fighting three brothers. With the violent explosion, the three fighting brothers were enveloped in flames. After the explosion, the ninja king jumped nearby. He looked toward the thick smoke after the explosion. "Even if you don't die, you will still be seriously injured," the ninja king said. But when the smoke cleared, the ninja king was surprised to find that the three fighting brothers were standing still. And there was no damage to the body except for the clothes. The three fighting brothers then released their state and began to move their bodies. Luckily I used the iron block in time," the three fighting brothers said in unison. The three fighting brothers used the iron block in the 6 styles. The body is as hard as iron, avoiding being hurt. After the three fighting brothers used iron blocks to resist the damage, they continued to attack the ninja king with their maces. The ninja king quickly dodges. These three stocky enemies can be difficult to deal with. Is there really nothing we can do? The king of ninjas. Now the battle has reached a stalemate. Wen Zheng, Roger and Shukro fought fiercely. This sharkfish man has amazing strength and bite power. Rog repeatedly used the giant tree hand to fight, but it was constantly destroyed and then grown again by Rog using the power of the plant fruit. The giant wooden hands continued to grow, and Rog felt that he was in a state of consumption. Using the power of plant fruits requires a lot of physical strength and energy. "Despair, you can't beat me," Shakluo roared. He bit violently again, destroying Rog's giant wooden hand. Rog became increasingly passive in battle. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Li Er A Dream. Chapter 416. In addition to violently attacking with his mouth, Shukro, he also uses ace martial arts. "Okay, Fishman Karate." Shakluo put on a posture and charged towards Rog. Rog looked at the other party, unable to avoid it. Shukro approached Rog and hit Rog from the left with one arm. Roger was hit, and the whole person flew up. Rog flew tens of meters away before landing heavily on the deck of the Discovery. Amazing. Roger stood up hard. Shakro rushed over again. This time he kicked Roger's left crotch laterally with his right leg. With a piercing sound, Rog flew out to the right. Shakro is very flexible in using Murloc karate movements. Another burst of continuous attacks made Rog roll over and over again. Rog now urgently needs to give the opponent a powerful blow. Rog took out the Kinkan bamboo spear again, and began to inject plant fruit power into it. The bamboo grew rapidly and turned into a 3-meter-long bamboo spear. After the Kinkan bamboo spear was formed, Rog continued to fight wielding the Kinkan bamboo spear. A bamboo spear is trying to stop me. Shukro said mockingly. Okay, let's try it. Roger rode. Shakro continued to approach. Rog grasped the Kinkan bamboo spear with both arms and stabbed him. Puff. Shukro's body was stabbed with the Kinkan bamboo spear. Those skins as hard as iron were also penetrated. How come? Shukro said in disbelief. Shakro's sharkman skin is as hard as iron. But Rog's Kinkan bamboo spear was extremely sharp and harder than steel. Shukro was stabbed in the ribs. But the burly sharkman continued to break free. The hands changed their original attack posture. Shaki Luo held the Kinkan bamboo spear with both hands. Shaki Luo flicked violently, sending Rog and the Kinkan bamboo spear flying. Rog fell heavily onto the deck of the Discovery. Rog then stood up again, only to see Sheikh Luo clenched his fists and rushed towards the side. Rog swung the Kinkan bamboo spear and rushed forward to assassinate. The Kinkan bamboo spear was about to assassinate Shaki Luo's throat. This time, Shukro suddenly slapped both palms together towards the middle. He caught the Kinkan bamboo spear abruptly. Shukro took advantage of the momentum and suddenly raised his right leg and kicked Rog. Roger rolled out after being kicked. Shaki Luo threw the Kinkan bamboo spear away. As soon as Rog stood up, he kicked again. This blow kicked Rog more than 10 meters away. Rog felt a sharp pain all over his body in the heavy walnut armor. Although the blow just now made the walnut armor bear most of it. But the shocks that came from him also caused Rog to suffer a lot of damage. The bastard is not done yet. Shakluo rushed in front of Rog. Roger quickly dodged, but how could he avoid this powerful Murloc karate master? Murloc karate. Shock through the air. Shaki Luo hit Rog's chest with one palm. This blow didn't matter, the walnut armor didn't take much damage. But Rog felt a sharp pain in his chest. The palm just now allowed the strength to penetrate his body. What? Roger howled in pain, and his body rolled out again. After Rog rolled out, Shakluo showed a happy expression on his face. Ha ha ha, if you dare to stab me, this is what will happen. Sakro growled. Rog's body was seriously injured, and he struggled to stand up. This time there was blood in the chest cavity. We must defeat our opponent, Rog said. Now Shakro possesses terrifying strength. If he continues to fight like this, Rog won't be able to hold on. If Shukro attacks like this a few more times, Rog will die. Shukro's air crack can strike the opponent with powerful force in the air. No matter how strong the heavy walnut armor on Rog's body is, it cannot resist it. Roger quickly took out the iron birch sapling. Do your best to inject all the plant fruit power in your body into it. Iron birch saplings grow rapidly. Iron birch great sword. Rog clenched the iron birch sword with both hands to fight. Shukro looked at the iron birch sword in Rog's hand. Previously, he lost his vigilance because of Rog's Kinkan bamboo spear. He was even stabbed in the ribs. This time Shukro was ready to block Rog's iron birch sword. Go to hell. Shukro said crazily. His hands are already ready to catch the weapon. Shukro is a master of fishman karate training. He can catch the opponent's weapons with both hands. Rog wields the great iron birch sword with both arms. The iron birch sword slashed at Shukro. Shukro's arms have already caught the iron birch sword. Puff. The iron birch sword was not caught by Shakluo, but passed through his hand and hit his body. Shakluo was miserable for a while. A sword mark was cut vertically across his chest and abdomen. Blood flew everywhere, and the Sharkman fell to the ground suddenly. Rog looked at the iron birch sword stained with Li Fang's blood. Iron birch is originally a wood that is harder than steel. After Rog was transformed with the power of plant fruits, the iron birch sword was as hard as fine steel. Although Shukro's Murloc karate could catch the iron birch sword, it couldn't hold its sharpness. Injury to hands and body. Damn it, bastard. Shukro stood up again, he was not killed. The shark man angrily bit at Rog with his huge mouth. Taking advantage of the momentum, Rog swung the iron birch sword at the opponent and killed him. Shukro's mouth bit the iron birch sword. His teeth were as hard as steel. At this time, Shukro's strength advantage was revealed again. In this way, he actually got into a stalemate with Rog. At this time, Rog slammed his foot at Shukro's chin and kicked him. This kick produced tremendous power. Shukro's teeth were originally biting the iron birch sword with terrifying bite force. Rog struck again at this time, producing a shocking effect. Crack it! The teeth in Shukro's mouth suddenly shattered. Any hard object, even steel that is pressed to a certain pressure at a special angle, will shatter when subjected to force. After Shukro's teeth were broken, he was no longer able to bite the iron birch sword. It is good. Rog took advantage of the momentum to kill. Shukro's mouth was full of blood and flesh. What? Shukro was in so much pain that he quickly backed away. He still saved his life by retreating quickly. Otherwise, the iron birch sword in Rog's hand would have cut deeper. Shukro was hit hard and suffered extremely serious injuries to his mouth. Rog was also breathing heavily, he didn't expect that he could kill Shangren like this. Now we can pursue the victory and kill Shukro. Okay, remember it for me. Shukro hurriedly jumped off the deck of the Discovery. With a splash, Shukro fell into the sea. Roger looked out to sea. Shukro knew he was injured and couldn't continue to fight, so it was better to save his strength first. In any case, Rog defeated the opponent's senior cotter, Shukro. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Li A Dream. Chapter 417. After Shukro was beaten away, the fighting situation of other people on the Discovery deck also improved one after another. Luffy and Bomb fight fiercely. Bomb used his nail-shooting submachine gun to attack Luffy violently. Luffy was beaten very embarrassingly. What he fears most are spiked weapons. After a fierce battle, Luffy was forced to hide behind the mast. Hyufu, it hurt so much. Luffy pulled out the steel nails on his body one by one. There were countless tiny blood holes on Luffy's bloody body. Boam's voice roared. Ha ha ha, you'll be beaten into sieves later. Luffy now needs to find a way to deal with the enemy. His eyes caught sight of the corpse of a senior frogman who had been killed before on the deck. Suddenly Luffy had an idea. Yes, Luffy said. Luffy stretched out his arms and pulled the senior frogman's body up. Boam continued to move forward, wanting to attack Luffy proactively. Rubber, stop hiding. Boam said as he walked. Suddenly a figure came out. Boam aimed at the opponent, but was immediately stunned. This is. Boam saw a standing senior frogman moving. But he soon saw a shadow behind him. Luffy stuck his head out and said, I'm here. Boam immediately looked ugly and said, it seems like you are still playing hide and seek with me. But he immediately pulled the trigger of the nailed submachine gun. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A string of steel nails shot out, hitting the senior frogman. But no matter how sharp these steel nails are, they cannot penetrate the body of a high-level frogman wearing a steel diving suit. Luffy suddenly threw the advanced frog's body towards Boam. Boam was knocked to the ground. Luffy rushed over quickly, aimed at Boam with his rubber fist and attacked. Rubber. Siege gun. Luffy hit Bomb's body intensively with both fists, hitting Bomb's nose and face bruised. Finally, the palms came together again, hitting Bomb's torso. Boom. After being hit, Bomb flew out of the whole body. It flew tens of meters away and landed heavily on the deck. Boom was successfully defeated by Luffy's attack. "Wow, I finally knocked you away," Luffy said excitedly. Boom the Burst Killer was also defeated. The fierce battle between the Ninja King and the three fighting brothers. The three fighting brothers constantly use powerful maces to attack in concert. The King of Ninjas can't break through the defense with weapons. Whenever the three fighting brothers are attacked, they use iron blocks to protect their bodies. Their repeated use of iron blocks made the Ninja King unable to attack. The King of Ninja wielded his ninja sword and slashed continuously, but was unable to hurt the three fighting brothers. "It seems that I also need to use my own unique skills," the King of Ninjas said. The King of Ninjas suddenly put his ninja sword back into the scabbard on his back. The Ninja King moves his muscles and blood internally quickly. The three fighting brothers suddenly hit three maces at the Ninja King. Chong! The mace hit both arms of the Ninja King. The Ninja King withstood the huge force attack of three maces with his arms. The black sleeve on the Ninja King's arm was torn, but there was no damage inside him. A mace full of spikes can't shake the Ninja King. How could this happen? The three fighting brothers said in unison in shock. The Ninja King slammed his arms together to block the three maces. The King of Ninja looked at the three of them with sharp eyes and said, "This is the top secret martial art of Wano ninjas, the indestructible body. After using the indestructible body, the body can be as hard as iron. The Navy has the powerful body art of 6 styles, but there are many similar martial arts in the world. The Vajra immortal body is similar to the iron block in the 6th form of the Navy. Similar to the iron block, the Vajra immortal body also concentrates the strength of the body as hard as iron by accelerating the movement of muscles and blood in the body. Moreover, the King of Ninja's cultivation of King Kong's indestructible body makes it harder than iron. It is higher than ordinary iron blocks, and its hardness is comparable to steel." After the King of Ninja used King Kong's indestructible body, the three fighting brothers were frightened into a cold sweat. They originally relied on highly coordinated attacks, but they were lackluster against enemies with very high physical hardness. "Don't be afraid of him, come on." The three fighting brothers waved their maces and attacked again. 3 maces hit the Ninja King. The Ninja King waved his arms to resist. He just used his arms to use the Vajra immortal body now. But like 2 steel clubs, it can block the attack of the opponent's mace. Chiang 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 chiang. The Ninja King uses his arms to fight fiercely with 3 maces. Fighting fierce battle of 3 brothers, but cannot defeat the Ninja King. The King of Ninjas became more and more courageous as he fought. He not only used his arms to use King Kong, but his body was not broken. Even the legs and other parts of the body also use Vajra indestructible body. What's more, King Ninja is also very good at martial arts. Ninja Judo. The King of Ninja used Ninja Judo in conjunction with the immortal body. The powerful and hard limbs combined with Ninja Judo are extremely powerful. The 3 fighting brothers were thrown into the air one by one. This time the Ninja King will not let them go after he is proud. The 3 fighting brothers were chased and beaten violently. The King of Ninja beat the 3 fighting brothers into a mess. Just when Rog, Luffy and the King of Ninjas all won or took advantage one after another, Sauron was fighting the most critical battle with Captain Ahab. Zoro and Captain Ahab fight against the 3 swordsmen. Both are tied. Between the lights and shadows of swords, the samurai swords and western swords of both sides collided with each other. Zoro was really surprised that the opponent was still so powerful despite missing one leg. Captain Ahab also admired Sauron's superb swordsmanship. "Son, I didn't expect you to be able to use such powerful sword skills with your mouth," Captain Ahab admired. Zoro also praised, "I didn't expect that after you lost your right leg, You actually got an extra sword. The two swords connected with each other, slashing horizontally and vertically, reflecting the sun's rays like lightning. During the battle, Captain Ahab suddenly rushed around with 3 Western swords. Spiral minced meat. Captain Ahab's left leg stood on the deck and spun like a top. During the rotation, a powerful sword energy was generated around it. Seeing this situation, Sauron immediately backed away. If you get too close, you will be killed by the sword energy. I know this similar trick too. Sauron strikes a pose. 3 sword style. Tornado. Zorro's 3 samurai swords spun rapidly along with his body. The whole person is centered on themselves to form a sword aura around them. Like a tornado. Sauron's tornado collided with Captain Ahab's helix. The fierce collision between the two tore the surrounding air apart. The two powerful swirling sword chi are comparable. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 418. During the offset, both stopped. Sauron stopped with Captain Ahab. The two looked directly at each other, and they were evenly matched after fighting for so long. Captain Ahab looked at Sauron and said, "You are one of the most powerful swordsmen I have ever seen. Of course, I have also seen many of the world's top strong men." Sauron looked at Captain Ahab and said, "Thank you for the compliment. You are also very powerful." Captain Ahab looked at Sauron, and his right leg suddenly slashed upwards with the sword energy. Pick and chop. The sword energy from Captain Ahab's killing came towards Sauron. Zorro quickly swung the katana that was clenched in both arms. Eagle wave. Sauron slashed out 2 sword chi. The 2 sword chi slashed at the opponent like a flying eagle. Yingbo's sword energy collided fiercely with the sword energy of picking and slashing. Although there is only 1 sword chi for picking and slashing, it is powerful enough to counter Yingbo's 2 sword chi. Sauron and Captain Ahab both looked at each other, and there was no result if they were consumed like this. The two sides have been fighting for so long and it is a draw. Zorro decided to use a powerful move. It is also the latest new move that I have learned. Zorro half-kneeled on the ground, with the samurai swords in both arms facing forward. Like a horn. Captain Ahab felt an unprecedented murderous aura. He felt a little danger. Sauron's right eye suddenly flashed a cold light. Behind him seemed to be the head of a bull ghost. 3 swordsman style. Ushiki. Brave claw. Sauron's body rushed out. His body turned into a shadow. Captain Ahab immediately fought back. 3-in-1 chop. The 3-in-1 Western sword on Captain Ahab's arms and right leg. An extremely powerful beheading was issued. Captain Ahab's 3-in-1 slash is extremely powerful. But Sauron's Nyugui Yang claw is faster. Sauron's swords merged into one, and together they became a sword light that avoided Captain Ahab's 3-in-1 slash. Captain Ahab was shocked that Sauron could change the direction of attack at such a high speed. Sauron's 3 swords and body came in front of Captain Ahab. Clang Puffchi. The Western sword on Captain Ahab's right leg was shattered. The body was also beheaded with 2 bloody gashes. Sauron came up behind Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab's body fell down. Sauron turned his head to look at Captain Ahab and said, "We finally won." Captain Ahab fell on the deck. After a fierce battle, Captain Ahab was finally defeated. At this moment, a sudden burst of screams rang out. Sauron saw the king of ninjas chasing the beaten fighting brothers and fleeing here together. Help! The 3 fighting brothers were so frightened that they ran as fast as they could. The king of ninjas is in hot pursuit. The 3 fighting brothers rushed here. I saw Captain Ahab lying on the deck. How could Captain Ahab be like this? The 3 fighting brothers said in unison. The ninja king also stopped and looked at Captain Ahab, who fell to the ground. He looked at Sauron again. The 2 sides showed admiration to each other. Then there was another burst of footsteps, and Rog rushed over. I saw Captain Ahab lying on the deck. It appears Sauron has won. I am coming. Luffy brought it here with his rubber power. The few people looked at each other and saw that they had won the battle. It's such a pity that I didn't get to see Zoro's swordsmanship, the king of ninjas said. At this time Captain Ahab suddenly made a sound. "Forward," said Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab trembled and stood up again. Rog, Sauron, Luffy, and the king of ninja all looked at Captain Ahab. The one-legged captain of the pirates is still alive. Captain Ahab stood up and still spit out some blood from his mouth. He looked at the chest, and the inside of the chest was wearing a special cowhide band protector, which greatly reduced the damage he suffered. Although the leather band protective gear was also cut open, the remaining blade only cut some flesh and there was no fatal injury. However, the strength of Sauron's attack caused some shocks to his internal organs. The western sword on Captain Ahab's right leg was also cut off. He tried his best to support it with the western sword on his right arm. Captain Ahab looked at Sauron and said, "What a powerful young swordsman." Zoro also said respectfully, "Thank you for the compliment." Luffy looked at Captain Ahab and said, "Why is he not dead yet?" Rog looked at this enemy. Although the opponent was seriously injured, he still had a way to deal with everyone. Captain Ahab looked at the four of them and said, "You will regret it later. I could have just captured this warship and let you live. But now I want to let this warship sink." As soon as Captain Ahab's words came out, everyone was very surprised. Luffy said directly, "What are you doing?" Captain Ahab glanced at the three fighting brothers around him and said, "Okay, let's get down." Captain Ahab slammed his arms hard, and quickly rushed to the side of the deck of the Discovery. He jumped into the sea below Wenjing. The three fighting brothers also quickly rushed to the side of the deck and jumped off. Rog and Sauron hurried to the side of the Discovery, looking down at the sea. I saw Captain Ahab and the three fighting brothers quickly dive into the sea below Wenjing. "Escaped," Luffy said. "I'm afraid it's not that simple," Zoro said. Rog and others came back to look at the deck. The deck was littered with enemy corpses. But there is still a figure squirming. "What is that?" Rog said. "By the way, I forgot to arrest him." Luffy rushed over. "The squirming one is Boehm, the explosive killer." Boehm was not dead, but he was badly injured. Luffy rushed over and quickly grabbed him. Rog and the others also went over, and Rog tied up Bomb with a cane whip. "Take him away. Let's ask for information about the enemy together," Rog said. The four brought Boehm near the bow of the Discovery. "Here Usopp and Sanji and Chopper and Nami and the goddess of spring water are all here." Rog and the others began to narrate things. "I see," Usopp and the others said after listening to Rog's story. Rog looked at Boehm again and said, "Okay, let's interrogate him." Everyone began to interrogate Boehm. And being Zheng in the sea. The three fighting brothers who were defeated before, Shukro, and Captain Ahab all returned to the submarine Moby Dick. Back in the wheelhouse, the ship's doctor quickly treated Captain Ahab and his companions' wounds. After a while of applying medicine and bandaging, Captain Ahab was finally able to move normally. "Damn it, you actually caused me such heavy losses." "Okay, now follow your orders," Captain Ahab said. The pilot of the submarine listened carefully to his orders. "Use new deep-sea torpedoes to sink this warship," Captain Ahab gave the order. "Obey." The submarine pilot began to maneuver, preparing to launch a powerful deep-sea torpedo. Now Captain Ahab has changed his decision. After sinking the Discovery warship, the gold and antiques inside can be salvaged. As for the hull, it's not that valuable anymore.